past week has been really rough for me. I have been sick and just struggling. So today I wanted to talk about God's strength being made perfect in our weakness and how we are able to actually allow His strength to help us with things that we're struggling with. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're continuing our women's Bible study here on YouTube. That is a collaboration with Sarah from Homelife and Lauren from the Joyful Homemaker. I'm happy to announce that next week, Deanna from Taming The Frizz will be joining us, and she'll be sharing on a topic of her choice, and she'll continue on with us in this Bible study. So be sure to check out their channels down below and subscribe to them. Also, be sure to check out the playlist that'll link below with all of the previous Bible studies we've done. They have all been so awesome, and I'm sure you'll be encouraged by what you find there. So be sure to watch that playlist. As you can tell by my voice probably, I am not feeling great. I have just had a really hard week, feeling sick, feeling discouraged, feeling like I don't want to parent. But when you're a parent, you can't just stop. You have to keep going. So today I just really wanted to share with you on that, just how we allow God's strength to come in and help us and how we get past those points of feeling stuck and feeling weak and overwhelmed. The scripture that has inspired this message today is 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. And that is, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." So I'm going to walk you through what I'm talking about here today. First off, we all have struggles in life, no matter what they look like. Sometimes they're more evident than others. Sometimes it feels like there's a mountain of things we're struggling with at once. But whether it is being a sick and tired mom, or whether you are going through a trial in your marriage or friendship or family relationship, whether you're struggling with a health issue, whether it's a financial issue or anything, there's always different things that have the tendency to weigh on us. The world encourages us to run away from these things, to escape them, to numb them out. It's not the most natural thing to deal with the struggles you're facing. It's so easy to just let them harbor, to just let the bitterness or the frustration or stress just stay within us and not be processed or released. Obviously though, as a believer, that's not what God has for us. The value in inviting God into our struggles is so important. I mean, I feel like if we can't do that in this life, how are we ever going to foster intimacy with Him? Because great intimacy comes from these struggles. It comes from these times where we feel incapable and we feel like we need help, you know? This is what life is. Life is made up of lots of trials. We are so conditioned, I feel like, to not expect these things in our life or to feel like we need to run from them, because there's just this idea in our culture that we should have a perfect life that's totally ironed out with no problems or issues, and that we should always be in positive spirits and that sort of thing. But that's not real life. So the value in knowing how to turn to God and allow Him to come into these situations is so invaluable. And Christ's strength is made perfect in our weakness. That means He can be glorified in our weaknesses unlike in any other way. You know, if we had everything all together and if I was always joyful and always had energy and always had a positive attitude, God would not be getting the glory. It would all be me. It would be me and what I can do. But God made us each as we are, and we all fall short in different areas. And in those places and spaces in our lives and in our character, He wants to come through and let Him and His strength shine through us. Not only is God glorified in these times, but we get to know God in such a deep and personal way, and we get to see how much He really cares and how present He really is with us. So the first step in these times when you're struggling with something is first obviously realize that you're struggling. To me, this often looks like just stress building up inside of me, anxiety, anger, frustration, all those negative emotions. And in those times, we can either just choose to keep going on with that, try and manage it and just manage our life and just keep trekking forward, or we can turn our hearts to God and just take a moment and connect with Him. The more honest I can be, verbalizing my struggles and even crying to God just in my frustration, the quicker I feel like I'm able to receive Him and receive His grace. Because if I just half-heartedly pray or just kind of have a positive thought, that's not going to help me. It's really being like, God, I need your help. Just like in all the Psalms and all throughout the Bible, it's really crying out to God and just putting all your eggs in His basket and being committed to receiving His grace. So cry out to Him and just give over to Him every burden that you're carrying, every worry on your heart, everything you feel overwhelmed by. You can write it down. You can say it out loud. You can say it in the car, like if you watch my last video. In Matthew 11:28-30, Jesus says, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. That is such good news for me, and maybe for you too if you're feeling weary, you're tired. You know, he's saying, come be joined to me as you are meant to be. He's saying, I make your burdens easy and light. And he will teach us because he is humble and he has a gentle heart. Scripture like this can easily sound like some idea, but it's true. He's actually calling us into a real life experience with him where he will shoulder our burdens with us. It's not just some idea of God. You know, this is something that we can actually do in our relationship with him when we engage with him and release our burdens to him. I have honestly, it's been a struggle for me. I just have really struggled feeling well and feeling motivated or feeling like I want to do anything, just not feeling well. Something just switches when I spill out my heart. His grace really just comes in and changes my heart and changes my attitude and just gives me light and perspective and hope for my day. He will do the same for you if you bare your heart to him, and if you are honest and real and just let him come in there, he will, and he will switch things around for you, and he will make your burdens easy and light. One other thing that I was reading last night in Hebrews really encouraged me, and that's just about the humanity of Jesus and how he really struggled on this earth. And I feel like that's really hard to comprehend because he's God. He loved us so much that he came to earth in a human form and really endured everything we endure here on earth as a human. This verse is talking about Jesus, the great high priest, in this little section, and it's Hebrews 5 verse 7 through 10. During the day of Jesus' life on earth, he offered up prayers and petitions with loud cries and tears to the one who could save him from death, and he was heard because of his reverent submission. Although he was a son, he learned obedience from what he suffered, and once made perfect, he became the source of eternal salvation for all who obey him, and was designated by God to be the high priest in the order of Melchizedek. So, I mean, did you hear that in the beginning? It says, during the days of Jesus' life on earth, he offered up prayers and petitions with loud cries and tears to the one who could save him from death. Honestly, that has been me this week. And just reading this reminds me that's okay. Like, I'm a human, and being a human is hard. These things that we experience, and we're not called to deny the human experience altogether. We're not called to deny that we have struggles. We're called as believers to invite God into that and allow him to help us through that, and in that he is glorified. Don't feel like you need to shut out all your feelings. Don't feel like you need to shut out the pain that you have in your heart, or the frustration or anger or bitterness or trauma, whatever it is. God wants to come in and heal that and work through that and be your strength, and in that he is glorified. You are connected to him. You are able to understand his love for you as a person, and that's what he's calling us to do and to be as believers, is just to invite him in and receive him into our hearts in each situation. It's not just one time that we receive Christ. It's receiving him and just the union we have with him, and continuing to accept that he is with us, to accept that good news and allow him to be our answer, to be the grace that we need. I hope this has encouraged you guys, and just know that it's okay to struggle. It's not about denying your struggles, but allowing God to come in and shoulder that burden with you and experience his love in that situation. If you guys need prayer for anything or struggling with something, definitely leave it in the comments and I'll pray for you, and we can pray for each other with whatever we're struggling with, because it definitely helps to have support. And I would love your prayers just to have more grace and patience for my husband and my daughter, and just more love, and that I would be able to do this, that I would be able to submit myself to him and just receive his grace and not try and do it all on my own. Anyways, I love you guys. Be sure to check out the playlist down below and the other channels. And again, Deanna from Taming the Frizz will be sharing next week, so don't forget to subscribe to her channel if you're not subscribed to her, so that you can see what she'll be sharing next week. Also, subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this, and give this a thumbs up. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Take a moment to remember who God is and who I am. There you go, lifting my load again.